What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I get these 20,000 steps in. I'm at Somerset Collection. Had to come out here for a second. And, always got to use whatever opportunities I can to step and add to that 20,000 goal. But we're going to talk about Diddy a little more. So they did the conference earlier, and they was talking about how this man is facing multiple life sentences. It's not looking good for him. I might step out here for a second and talk to y'all a little bit. You got this music playing in the background, and I don't want the algorithm to pick it up and be like, oh, no, not this video. So we'll head outside and chat for a second. But as I was saying, Diddy is facing multiple life sentences. They talked a bit about stuff that they found when they raided his home. They said they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and also lubricants. So, this sounds wild, man, this whole Diddy thing. The story just keeps getting wilder. I can't say it sounds wild. It's been sounding wild. It's just getting wilder. They say they talk more about the freak-offs. It looks like they got some witnesses. I don't know who flipped on Diddy, but somebody did. They say their investigation goes all the way back to 2008. Now, I don't know if that's how long they've been watching him for, or if that's just, like, in terms of receipts and whatnot, they've been digging back that far, too. But they did say that their investigation goes back to 2008. So, what in the world is that? It's just some kid. Man, someone is always making noise around me. You notice that? Y'all gotta notice that, right? You have to notice that noise always find me. In this case, it's some stupid kid just yelling for no reason. He's with what looks like his grandfather, because I can't imagine that a dad would allow a kid to behave that way. It's always grandparents that, they're not as strict and whatnot on kids. They tend to let your grandchildren just do whatever. So that's how you end up with a boy at the mall just yelling, making noise for absolutely no reason at all. Just no reason at all. Just being disruptive for the hell of it. But it's just funny how I came out here to get away from noise and that kid was out here. It's just the irony of that is not lost on me. But let's continue on talking about Diddy, man. They talked more about his freak-offs and what they know about those. They alluded to, somebody or some people, they got some information from. Yeah, as I said, they did make it known that their investigation does go back to 2008. Now, they didn't want to really say, rather, stand here for a bit. They didn't really want to say whether they've been watching him that long or not. But somebody at the conference did ask, why was he allowed to get away with the types of things that he was doing for so long? If they've known about this stuff, even if they haven't known about it going back to 2008, they've known about it for years. They've been watching them for years, because you know how the feds operate. The feds watch you for years before they strike. That's usually why it's hard to beat a Fed case, because by the time they come for you, they have so much stuff to throw at the wall and make it stick that you just really have no chance of getting out of it. And the guy who was speaking, he was very, very professional, very well spoken. And, he gave a very roundabout answer, basically saying, well, we don't want to talk about that. We just want to talk about getting justice for the victim. I think that's the better thing to focus on, which, I guess. But I do think that's a legit question. Like, you guys knew about the sort of stuff that he was doing, and you let him accumulate more victims over time while you guys were watching him. So I can understand posing that question and wanting an answer. Like, why in the world did y'all allow this to go on for so long? But or the FBI rather, they're not the ones to blame, okay? Like, Diddy was doing what he wanted to do, and he's the one that should get all of the ire, not the FBI, not the investigators. Well, why'd you guys sit back watching for so long? Well, you know what? Why was Diddy doing this for so long? How about that? Instead of wanting to hold my feet to the fire, you should be more mad at Diddy. How are you more upset at us, the investigators, than you are at Diddy? While you guys continue to buy his music, while you guys continue to support him, while many people still continue to defend him. Now that this all is coming out, now you want to hold the investigators more accountable than the perpetrator himself. Just weird energy. But it's not looking good for Diddy, man. And you know what? I know Cassie settled with him, and she signed an NDA with her settlement. But with that, I wonder if there's some loophole to where the feds could still get her to testify at the trial. I'm not sure, but I am wondering if there is some loophole to still get her to testify at the trial because of the nature of it being a federal case. That would be interesting, because honestly, I think everybody will want to hear what Cassie has to say, because she was with Diddy all them years, and the stuff that she exposed in that lawsuit that she did was some pretty diabolical stuff. And she probably didn't even spill everything that she knows in that. There's probably plenty more stuff where that came from that she kind of kept to herself. She just threw enough out there to make Diddy look bad and get Diddy's attention so that he'll, pay her. Because look how quick Diddy settled. All right, look how quick Diddy settled. That man settled in like a day. What that told me is that she knew way more than what she revealed, and Diddy wanted to make sure she didn't spill more than what she already did. He was fearful. Like, nobody settles that quickly. I mean, tell me if y'all know anybody else that settled that quickly. There's some lawsuit against them, and like a day later, it's announced, oh, it's over. She's been paid an undisclosed amount. She signed an NDA. Just never seen that before. So this is what's happening with Diddy, man. Diddy ain't no good, man. Diddy's never been any good. I think many of y'all knew Diddy was no good and still turned a blind eye to it, still celebrated this man anyway. Just by the way Diddy used to handle his artists, I didn't understand why people still messed with him. You had countless situations where people were saying they was a bad boy artist and Diddy stiffed them on, paying them. Like, this isn't an isolated thing. We heard this over and over and over and over and over. I mean, the greatest artist that he ever had was Biggie, and we heard talks to the fact that he was stiffing Biggie, and that's why Biggie was, trying to work out some other stuff with publishing to where he can get his music out there and he just keep the cut for himself rather than having to whack it up with Puffy and Puffy taking the majority of it. So even the greatest artist he's ever had signing his label, he was stiffing him on the money, and possibly, allegedly, was behind what ended up happening to him, where he ended up gone too soon. There's stuff said that whole after party they went to and stuff, Big didn't want to go to that. They had some interview that Puff had set up for him to go to because he's supposed to be promoting his music. And as about the business and about the dollars as Puff is, he urging him to miss a flight to go promote his music, to go to an after party in LA where they know they got enemies. You know, that just sounds real sus, man. You know, he's supposed to go somewhere else. And if he hops on that plane, that doesn't happen to him. So he just so happened to not go where he was planning to go, a place that Puff set up himself for him to go. Puff never canceled anything before. Now all of a sudden he just so applying pressure so tough for him to miss this. Man, you gotta go to this. It's just an after party, man. I mean, y'all in hip hop, an after party is not nothing, you know, like new to y'all or exciting to y'all at this point. Like y'all done been to a bunch of them, so that's not worth missing out on free promotion. You know, so just the whole situation with how Big ended up in this, you know, the way that he was, it's always been sus. People have always said that they believed it was sus. And for years and years and years, a man that was very clearly on some bullshit, people always turned a blind eye to. And continue to turn a blind eye to until what? The Cassie video comes out. The Cassie video comes out. Now, all of a sudden, everybody, oh man, we always knew Puff wasn't no good, this and that. Man, whatever. Miss me with that nonsense. Y'all the same people that's been supporting Puff all along. So yeah, Puff, it's not looking good. I don't celebrate anybody's downfall. You know, I think that's not a good thing. But I will say this. In the case of Puff, considering how dirty he is, all of the stuff that he's been doing, I'm not exactly upset about it either. So though I'm not going to sit up here and take any gratification in his downfall, I'm not upset about it. That's for damn sure. But I'm going to leave it there, y'all. I appreciate y'all connecting with me. I'm going to get back into this mall and step around. Like this video, subscribe. Peace.